This colloquial tongue I speak is foreign to my ancestors who once spoke me into existence. I am of a bloodline that was scattered across the ocean. This once foreign tongue used to oppress me. It is this stolen tongue I now use to speak of my oppression. A language used to abuse and define my nature. A system designed to wipe out my ancestral imprint with ignorance. A tool misused to propel the exploitations inflicted upon me. Used to divide and conquer. Used in a court of law I was then forced to honor. Laws of a stolen land are now used to govern stolen people. Displaced on native soil. The English language is oppressive in its very nature. It thrives on individualism and domination. But these words do not exist in my mother tongue. I come from a land that speaks in hollow drums and heartbeats, resurrected by redemption songs of love and prophesied descendants. See, the English language may have colonized the borders of my tongue, but Mama Africa still lives in each breath of my lungs. Because since the day I learned my first word, self-expression has always been second nature. A child prodigy of third world parents, so I have to tell my forefathers' stories on paper. Because if the ocean waves could speak, would they still remember stories of our ancestry? Do the ripple effects of colonialism still linger across the Atlantic? Have the ancestors who were once swallowed whole by its gaping mouth become one with the sea? Did the oceans make us mermaids in Atlantis? Does each tide wade like long-lost memories? Do the shores still remember the ebb and flow of dark and shackled feet? Do the shores still remember us as kings and queens? Or do the waters continue to baptize and save us in the name of colonialism? Because in the neglected, piss-stained elevators, roach-infested apartments, boxed-in neighborhood I once called home, see, 9 out of 10 of my friends grew up without real men, so the cycle never ends. Never knew our family trees because apparently black fathers branch out and leave. See, it's in our roots, look at our anger, it's proof. We are the footprints of our forefathers' issues because our ancestors never fought to become free blacks, they simply fought to be free. We've lost touch with the roots of our family trees, our natural identities, and I am tired. Tired of trying to make sense out of life when our communities need change. See, these bills and laws are being passed every day. We've built the walls, but are boxed in like Cassius Clay. See, our ancestors are spinning counterclockwise in their graves. We've been sentenced to marginalized bars of stagnance, and we barely turn the page. Some of us are still cotton picking, materialistic and closed-minded. We are sagging our jeans. It's in our genes because sagging spelled backwards is niggas. So go figure that the finger on the trigger is another brother brushed off from the canvas of the bigger picture. Because race is a figment of our imaginations. I mean, what are we chasing? Mental enslavement? Imagine if we opened up our third eyes and seen past the faces, past too many colored lines of segregation. It wouldn't matter if you read the signs or blew your chance, he is still the matrix. See, the color of my skin does not define who I am. My ancestors fought for this land so I could stand. See, those in power, no knowledge of self, can divide up their plans. That's why the education system won't teach you about yourself. I think it's a scam. They teach us how to work for wage, but not how to manage or invest. The Industrial Revolution made us economic slaves. That's why they take credit for cashing your checks. But see, we still gotta live our lives right until we have nothing left. I said we still gotta live our lives right until we have nothing left. Because see, money is not the root of all evil. The addiction to it is. And they're commercializing childhood and selling materialism to the kids, teaching them to be consumers before they learn to plant a seed into their future. In my neighborhood, we grew up thinking that happiness was found in material possessions, and a couple of my friends grew up thinking that the solutions to our problems were found in automatic weapons. See, bullets had mothers stressing and fear had us guessing, until I learned to tap into my spirit to find the answers to my questions. Because see, we are all reflections of one another. You are my reflection, you are my reflection, you are my reflection. We are all reflections of one another. Conceived, the Eve, the Adam, was able to walk without a cane. So now ask yourself, what is love without pain? What is pain without love? What is love without pain? Because cold, dark nights where I was nowhere to be found, leaving my loving mother worried, asking herself, how? In 2003, I was a thief for Halloween, stealing, causing a commotion and creating a scene, throwing rocks at the innocent, laughing back at those times I reminisce. See, that night I made a big mistake. See, the cops pulled up and I could have ran away, but I chose not to. That choice left me in a cell overnight singing the blues, left in there for hours till my father picked me up. Sitting in that passenger seat, well, it had us both feeling distraught. When we got home, we fought verbally, and this all happened at the age of 12. I wasn't even 13. On another cold, brisk November night, I left myself in a fright. Earlier, me and my boys caused mischief that night, assaulting another youth. I remember kicking him in the face with my Timberland boots. I got home later on to hear the police wanted me. You see, I knew what I did, but no way in hell was I going back in. So he wanted to see me the very next day, and after school, I took my precious time getting on the subway. I walked through those doors as nervous as a thief. There were thoughts going through my head, and times I couldn't breathe, until I was arrested, something I would never foresee. See, the officer sat me in a cell, and for the next 12 hours, I went through hell. I cried, I tried to get some help, until I realized there was no one left. And within that cell, I lost myself. I stayed in that cold and lonely cell until later on the next day. I was transported downtown in the early morning. I had my picture and my fingerprints taken, and before my eyes, my life was torn. I stayed handcuffed until 4 in the morning. It was hard to overcome the fear. I felt my life and self-esteem dripping in my tears. I made a few peers and found out for them it was close to the end. Some were in there for 2, 3 years, some even 10. I was so surprised. I remember closing my eyes only to wake up to a puddle of my very own cries. And after that, I promised myself there'd be no more lies. So I tried and I tried, but I still never realized that our lives are a prize. See, as long as the spirit lives inside, it really doesn't matter how big its size. So I write to you today to tell you about my experience, to free my mind from inheritance. If I can change my life, there would be no replacement. I had court dates like every day, and although they were brief, it was one step closer to removing my mother's grief. So she prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed until her son was free, walking and grimacing on both arthritic knees. After this experience, I widened my eyes and I was filled with sorrow, just trying and trying, then doing and doing to live a better tomorrow.